I have a very short window to make this opening for this video because we have a storm coming. In fact, our power went out last night, so I'm kind of in a little bit of a hurry. But I want to let you know that in this video, we're going to upcycle several thrifted bracelets. Yep, several. Some I've taken apart, some I haven't taken apart yet, and we're going to upcycle them. And I end up making 5 bracelets in this video. Yes, 5. And as always, I'm going to ask you at the end of the video to vote by leaving a comment with your favorite bracelets that we made in this video. And I hope that this video inspires you to make some bracelets too, from upcycling other bracelets that you don't feel are all that pretty, you know? Upcycle them. And I thought this time I would name them. I never name them. Well, I'll name them after I make them. How's that? Let's get started. Today we're going to take apart some of these older bracelets with old stretch elastic. I have a few others in here. These are from church rummage sales or thrift stores. And I think it's time to upcycle these and see what else we can do. These beads are from bracelets that I picked up at a garage sale for 25 cents each. So I have a $1 bag here of beads. So let's take these apart and see what we can come up with. Maybe add some new spacer beads and things and redesign these bracelets. Before I sat down to do the video, I took a look at this. I'm like trying to figure out. I mean, I guess it's a bracelet, okay? And I guess we put this around and one side goes through the loop here and one side goes, one side goes through the loop here. And then this toggle comes through here. It's not the easiest thing to put on. I know that because I've already tried once. Okay, well, it's supposed to work like that, where half of this side goes through here, and I give up. It's not a design that I'm going to be making, that's for sure. In fact, we're going to take it apart. So what we're going to do, I don't know if it's on wire. Yeah, it's on wire. We're going to take it apart. Cut the wire. I'm going for the beads and for a new design. Have you ever seen a bracelet like this one? Of course, I didn't buy it for the bracelet. I bought it for the beads. I'm going to set the toggle clasp aside. Here's the beads that we have from that one. I also have some green beads here. The stretch elastic is pretty yellowed. I don't know how old it is. I don't know how much lifespan is left in it, so I'm going to take it apart. Guess that's what we do here. More often than not, we upcycle. I think this bead is okay. It was glued, but it came undone. So now we have these beads to work with. And then we see what else we have. We have some red and clear beads. Nothing too special about it. No fancy spacer beads or anything. Let's take it apart. They were beads before, and they are beads again. These are oval pink stones. Again, you can see the elastic is stretched out. Let's take it apart. And this, well, it has a combination of shells and some glass-blown beads. Let's take this one apart. And look how long this is. I don't think that's supposed to be showing. I don't think so. But that's okay. We all start somewhere. Trying to be delicate with these because of the glass, the little glass dots on here. I doubt very much that I'm going to use the shell pieces, so I'm setting those aside. And these beads, I took these apart a few weeks ago. And I have a variety of colors here. I have some green, so I'm going to put those in the green dish. It just so happens that I have these two color combos going. But I thought I'll go ahead and set teal and green over there and maybe aqua blue. And I have some brown and gold. I'll just put those in here. Oh, I've got some green here. I'm going to take the green back out. I couldn't see the color till I put it in the bowl. That's a pastel. And these are various shades of blue and cream We've got some spacer beads. Let's put those in a separate dish. This is all part of getting organized. I'm looking for other spacer beads and bead caps. I'm just getting set up to see what we have to work with so that I'm no longer looking at everything as being bracelets. Instead, I'm looking at everything as being beads. It really helps a lot to do this when you're looking to make some jewelry. It really does. It helps a lot. We're using a couple of different materials. I have some bead stringing wire. It's 49 strand, 0.018. And I have some memory wire that's 2 inches in diameter. And as I said, I might pull in some other spacer beads and things like that. But this is what we have to work with. I just have to figure out what color I want to start with. Decisions. I really like these bright green beads. Let's put those in a bowl so you can see them. I like those a lot. And even though this was with the original bracelet, I'm not sure if I want to stay with those or not. I have these beads in like an aqua. Well, you know what? Let me get something else here. Set these aside. This is my bamboo bracelet making board. Here's the thing though. When you're working with different sizes of beads, like these are really chunky and these are very small, it doesn't necessarily mean that when I put these in this circle here, that it's going to be exactly an 8-inch, because I'm not going to be able to make these beads stand on their side. But it still could be helpful. Plus we have the linear here, and then we need to allow for a clasp. So I think I'm going to start with some bead stringing wire, and I'm going to, it goes up to 9.5 inches here. I'm going to add a few extra inches. Putting a clip on one end. And let's just kind of lay out the pattern, see what we like here. I like this green bead. I'm going for about 7.5 inches. Just work on laying out a pattern here. I'm going to mix up the blues and the greens. I have some little black spacer beads here, but I'm not sure that I'll need those. Let's kind of start with this and see what happens. I'm not sure about the big chunky bead in the middle. That's the one that I'm questioning right now. I found some bead caps that are a little bit flat, so I'm going to try these. That works a lot. I'm going to work both sides at the same time. The aqua crystal rondelle on each side, green. Let's take a look at it. I now have components from 3 different bracelets combined. And we're introducing components from a 4th bracelet that I took apart. Pick up that pattern again. I like these colors together a lot. The one bracelet that had the toggle clasp had these little crystals in it, but not all these other beads that I'm adding. Oh, that's looking really pretty. Is it long enough? Absolutely not. It is not long enough. Let's work in another one of these beads. Maybe 2. I'm only at 5.5 inches. So let's work in, if I have them, 2 blue ones. One on each end, and then pick up again with the aqua, the green and the aqua on each end and see where we are. So I'll add those, and this time I'm going back to my clip. I'm just going to work on one end at a time. If you hear any noise in the background, well, my husband Mark is doing laundry. My hubby does the laundry. He always has. He's always chosen to do the laundry, so it works for me. Not going to argue with that. I do most of the cooking, although he assists me in the kitchen all the time, but for the most part I do the cooking. Okay, I'm at 7.5. What we don't know is by the time we put it around the wrist and everything, along with the clasp, what are we going to have? And what kind of clasp are we going to use for this? I'm going to use a variety of clasps. I think this first one, I'm going to try this little heart toggle clasp. Haven't used these for a while. And I need a couple of crimp tubes. And I like to add a small round bead at the end before I add the crimp tube. Crimp tube. Let's go through the heart. And I'm going to double check everything before I cut anything here, trim anything off. Let's get the beads down here. Just pushing the wire down through. As I said, when you have a larger bead, it's a little harder to judge sometimes what the size is going to be. Even if I want to estimate 3/4 to an inch for the clasp, it doesn't mean that's really going to be the size by the time it's put on your wrist. So what I'm going to do is not finish this off, but instead I'm going to bring the toggle through here. And this is where the bracelet cone comes in handy. Okay, right now, and this will be tightened up a little bit, but right now it's about 7 3/4 because this isn't tight. So by the time I tighten that a little bit, it'll be 7 3/4. I think that's doable. So let's double check our pattern. Make sure we've got everything that we want in the order that we want. Plus I added that small round bead at the end. Okay, let's go ahead and push the crimp bead towards the clasp, although I am allowing some flexibility here. And then using a crimping tool, read the instructions with your crimping tool. You want to have the wires sitting side by side, not crossed over, and they're side by side. Again, I have some flexibility here. Mine says give it a little press in the first position, although that doesn't do a whole lot. Then the second position till it looks like a little hot dog bun. And then rotate it on its side and go back to the first position and press. And then you can rotate it and press again. Just don't overwork it, and then check it. It's not pulling out, so that's good. I don't need a super long tail. I like to go through, a couple of beads. You don't have to go through many, but go through a couple of beads. I'm going to loosen this up on this end for now, so I can push these beads down a little bit. I think I'll be good just going through a couple of beads. You can use your wire cutters, your flush cutters. I happen to like to get nail clippers in there. Clip that off, push the beads down. And this is where we tighten up a little bit here. I would like to go through at least one more bead though. Don't have to. Doesn't make it any stronger, it just helps hide the wire. Pushing the beads down. Do you see that gap? That's way too much gap. In fact, I'm not convinced that I have this side by side, so I'm going to pull it out a little bit and then re-tighten it. Right now, I have it slightly over tightened, but when I push the crimp tube down, it frees it up a little bit. I think I'm good. Going to my crimping tool, rotate it. Check it. It's not pulling out, and I'm pulling really hard on it, so trim it. We have our first bracelet. Looks nothing like the original bracelet, does it? If you can even remember the original bracelet. So let's check the size again. I like to go to the back, and it's 7 3/4. 7 3/4. First bracelet done. Now, if I put this on here, this goes to 7 1/2. It looks like it's 7 1/2. If I put it over here, it's not quite 8, which is true. It's not. So it's in between these two. How's that? But that's why that final check on the bracelet cone really gives you the real size, because I used a variety of sizes of beads in here. And I upcycled components from 1, 2, 3, 4 different bracelets to make this new design. Let's make another one. Let's see what else we can come up with. So what do you think about this one? And what should we name it? It's green and aqua with lots of pretty colors. Let's call it some really creative name like aquamarine. How's that? Are you ready to make bracelet number 2? Let's work with these colors. And I think this time I'm going to use memory wire. Memory wire comes in coils like a slinky. And it comes in 3 different sizes. As I had said, mine is a 2-inch, but it does come smaller. It might be called a child size, but if you have a small wrist, the child size might work just fine, but it comes in 3 sizes. You'll find a link for the size I use most of the time under the video. I am going to allow this to overlap 1.5 times approximately. And you do have to have special memory wire cutters. Otherwise, you will damage any other cutters that you have. This is a very heavy steel wire, and it remembers to keep its shape. That's why they call it memory wire. If I haven't said this before, It doesn't help you with your memory at all. No, it doesn't. So I'm eyeing these glass beads with the little pink dots. Let's put one of these right smack dab in the center. And now that I'm looking at it, the design is one-sided. Do you see how the design is mostly on this side, not that side? Well, what if we put two of these back to back? What if? We can try anything that we'd like. Wasn't my original plan. Yeah, I didn't realize how one-sided these were, even though they were in a bracelet already. What happens if we try this little pink bead? It's metal, like a cloisonné bead. Let's try that in the center. I don't know if this is going to work. Nope, doesn't work. I have this fairly large star spacer bead. Try that. I'm really trying to get these to work back to back since they're one-sided in the pattern. It could be that it's because I'm putting it on memory wire that it's not quite working for me. Disappointed about that, but I'm still not liking it. Let's move on to a different bead. Now sometimes when you're trying to use these elongated beads in memory wire, it distorts the memory wire. They don't go on at all. Or what happens if you can get it on, it can spread the memory wire apart. So that's not a great pick for memory wire. Let's see how these beads work. Are these too wide for the memory wire? Are they going to lay right? I'm going to spin. It will work, but it's rather plain. Since these aren't working on the memory wire and the ovals aren't working on the memory wire, let's go ahead and go back to the green combination right now and see what we can do. Because the beads do have to work within the curved area. Let's try one of these green acrylic or plastic, and add these little aqua metal beads, one on each side. Oh, wait a minute. Let's embellish this a little bit. How about these little stars, little star bead caps? Put one on each side. Put one on each side. And then these cloisonné beads. These are really pretty. They would make pretty earrings too, but I've pretty much used them up. So this is what we have so far. And then let's see what we can work in from this dish. I have some taupe colors. It looks like I have 6 of those. I have some clear with an AB finish. You know, we need enough beads to go all the way around. That's pretty much everything there. Oh, I just saw a taupe in here. So let's see what we can do. So let's see if we have enough beads to turn this into a bracelet. Of course, I could use more of the green beads. We could work in 2 more of these. And I have some more stars, star spacer beads. That's what I have so far. Let's try working in. Let's work these in. One on each side. This is what we have so far. Now these are going to fall on the side of the wrist, you know, on the side. So for that, maybe I should move them closer to the top. Or keep that in mind when you're building it. You may not want those that far down on the side. I'm rethinking this. I'm going to move those up a little closer to the top center. Bear with me here. This is what we're starting out with. Back to this. Then I have the taupe in between, and then I'm going to add the green beads back in so that they're closer to the top of the wrist. A little bit anyway. The other option was to put all 3 together right here. I think that's doable. Let's pick up again with the taupe. Because basically when it starts getting under the wrist, you can almost think of those beads as being filler beads to fill up the wire. Not always, but you can. I think I'm going to run out of beads before I get to the end. This is what I have so far. I only have 1 more taupe unless oh, here's another one. Good. And I'm going to go ahead and clip off one end. It doesn't have to overlap 1 1/2. I was just allowing that Adding another clear bead on each end. So I have 2 clear beads right now, like on that side, because I do believe I'm out of clear beads and taupe beads. I'm going to take a final look. I was trying not to work in the green and the aqua because I've already used it in this bracelet. So I was trying to do something different. It's not overlapping very much. I would like to have some more filler beads here. I have the plastic ones here. I'm not really excited about those. I have some clear beads in here. Trying to work mostly with what we have from the original bracelets. I have some little seed beads. Now if you hear anything, it's pouring down rain outside. I just looked out the window because I was hearing something. Rainy day. If we can use these as extenders, finish this off under the wrist. I'm looking one more time. Have I missed any? Be nice to find one more. I'm not seeing one more. Okay, what happens if I go ahead and add the little silver bead? Clip that off. Let's go to the other side. Now obviously I could get into my bead stash and come up with something else to finish this, but I really am trying to work with as many beads as I can from the original bracelets, I should say. 6 of these and then a silver bead. I think this is going to do it. I'm going to stop there. Again, count my little beads. It looks like I have one too many here. It's 5 beads per side, or however many you want to use, because my videos are for inspiration. In case you don't know that, my videos are for inspiration. I have this little tool that I like to use to put the little loop on the end of the memory wire. I like that better now than using my round nose pliers because these are tapered. And I like to use the smallest loop, not the largest loop. So that means I have to get this to where I'm getting ready to wrap. Let's flush. Wrap the small loop. This thing is so nice. Look at that. Nice little loop I made. So easy. And then push all your beads down and around. Double check your pattern one last time. Bead caps in between. This is my focal point. Then I have the taupe, bead cap, green, bead cap, and then I'm just checking the pattern. Now I am going to be cutting this wire off, so I need to go back to the memory wire and allow about 1/4 inch. This is flush. Roll it back, close it up. I think I could close it up even more. And you can roll it towards the outside or the inside. So bracelet number 2 is done. Let's take a closer look at each one. I'm going to ask you to vote at the end. This one has so much color. It's hard not to like this one the best, but I'm not trying to influence your vote. But this is bracelet number 1 and bracelet number 2. Shades of green and taupe and clear. Bracelet number 2, lots of green, a little bit of clear. What should we call this one? I'm in such a hurry because of the storm that I'm not really sure, but how about Green Envy? I don't know. Let's move on to bracelet number 3. Surely we can make another bracelet, although I am challenged by these beads. But we do have some red here. Red and some dark pink. I have some wood beads that I'm not planning on using. I have some cream color, 2 cream color, and then this one is cream and pink. Well, I might be able to work in the pink. I've got a pink and 2 cream. Getting everything out of here that I can, that I think I could possibly use. Not going to use these because they don't work. Not seeing much in here that I could put with the red. It's getting harder. I've got this orange. I'm not crazy about it. I say orange, maybe it's just brown. Not crazy about that. I might have to get some other beads out. I still have these, but they don't work very well on the memory wire. Well, let's start with these. And I will try to use memory wire again for this one. Going for 1.5 wraps. So if that's the end, and I come around to the halfway point on the wire underneath, I'm about here, give or take. So about 1.5. Let's try to build a pattern, front and center. Let's see what we can do. I have the red. I'm going to work in this pink because I like it. Might add some spacer beads because that's a little bit plain. I'm not sure if this star is going to look good against the cloisonné bead. We'll find out. Either does or it doesn't. It's not bad. It's not bad. Although I think it dominates just a little bit. A little too much. And I'm not crazy about these spacer beads. They have a lot of wear. I'm going to grab some spacer beads. I have two options here. This is one option. That works. This one is like a tiny bead cone. I thought I was going to like it, but I don't. So I'm going to go back to this. Add the red bead. I think I'm going to get 2 more of those. Because I have these cream color cloisonné beads, or enamel, whatever you'd like to call them. Oh, I need more than 2. Okay, this is what we have so far in red, pink, and cream. I'm not worried about making any earrings to go with this today. This is what I've got so far. It's going to have the large round beads almost all the way around, although I'm down to my last 2. Let's put a clip on one end here so that we can see how it looks with these last few little, almost like a 6-0. To the other side. If you're enjoying this video, give it a like, comment, and if you haven't done so, please subscribe and keep watching. There's more. I still have quite a bit of wire left, but not any beads left to speak of. I have a couple of options to finish this off. Have you ever worked with this tubing before? Sometimes I finish off with quite a bit of that. I don't just finish off a small section like this. I go a lot further with it. In other words, instead of the small red beads, I would go all the way to here with it, as long as I have enough room to make my loop at the end. Let's try the other side. And I can trim this. I can cut it to length. I'm just trying to make sure I can make my loop, and I can, most certainly can make my loop. In fact, I could possibly put a red bead at the end like this and make my loop. I'm going to do it. I'm going with it, checking my pattern, getting my loop making tool, making sure the wire is flush, getting a good grip, and making my loop, closing my loop. Push the beads down and around. Putting one red bead instead of a silver bead. I'm putting a red bead, making sure everything's pushed down, and make a loop. Close the loop. And we have our 3rd bracelet. In pink and red and cream. And the tubing is underneath the wrist, so it's not a focal point, it's just a finishing. And there we go, bracelet number 3. If you'd like to vote, bracelet number 3. I have a name for this already. Now, I'm not going to be using these names on eBay when I list the bracelets because the names don't mean anything in search on eBay. But how about pink champagne? How about that? Pink champagne. I thought it might be more fun to vote this time for a name rather than a number, but you can do it either way. It doesn't matter. I really appreciate it whether you share a number or a name. Pink champagne. I do believe we need to go back to the stringing wire since some of the beads didn't work with the memory wire. And that's fine. You can use whatever you like, whatever you have on hand. I'm going to measure this again since I'm talking here. Add an extra couple inches. Put a clip on one end. You can also use these type of clips if you like. I just happen to prefer this alligator type clip. Let's try these mother of pearl beads. See if we can do something with that. I don't think there's really much I can work with out of here. I mean, I could use the brown beads, but I think I have more opportunity here. So we might be doing another green and aqua, but it will have different colors because of the mother of pearl. And let's work in the black rondelle. Now these have various shades. Some of them have blue, some do not. And I'm thinking that I would like to have some spacer beads in here. But as I said, I'm not real fond of these. They're pretty worn, so I'm going to grab some spacer beads. I'm going to try some of those. I'll show you here in a second, but first let me add another mother of pearl. Just a little more bling. Going back to the black. I'm really trying to use up the ones that have a little bit of blue in them. I think that looks really nice with this. Let's take a look at the size. I am currently slightly over 8 inches in the linear measurement. I think I need to back off one. We can take a look at this on here and see. It's not going to tell us exactly, but give us an idea. I'm going to allow about 3/4 of an inch or so for a clasp. And I also like to take a look at it on a bracelet cone. I'm going to stop here and I'll add a clasp and extension chain. I need a couple of crimp beads. I'm going to add small beads at the end, and because of that I'm going to go ahead and take off this little black crystal and add the silver bead, because these are small beads and I think it's going to run a little bit larger than what it may have appeared in the bracelet cone. It's something that's trial and error sometime. I'm going to go through the lobster clasp, and always make sure your lobster clasp works. Always check it. Go through the lobster clasp, back through the crimp. Make sure that your wire is side by side. You can even slip a bead over it to help with that, my little silver bead. But making sure it's side by side, but has some flexibility. Got my hot dog bun, so I rotate it on its side and just crimp it a couple of times. Check it. It's not pulling out. You can let it go through one more bead and then trim the wire, either with your flush cutters or, like I'm doing, some sharp clippers. Push your beads down. Oh, I'm replacing the black bead with the little round bead. These are 3mm. And then a crimp tube. And you could use a crimp cover if you want. I'm not going to, but you can. Just get hold of that tail, pull on the wire to tighten that up. Make sure you have some flexibility. I'm going to check this before I'm going to add an extension chain, but let's check it for size anyway. It's at 8 inches. I'm going to be listing all of these in our eBay store, so I'll have a variety of sizes available because, you know, everybody wears a different size. And again, run my hands down through it. I like to over tighten and then back off just a little bit before I crimp that. Good. Trim the tail. We have ourselves another pretty bracelet, but I am going to grab some extension chain and add just a little bit. And I have some extension chain that I'm going to upcycle. It actually has a little doodad on the end, so let's add, oh, I don't want to get too long. Maybe an inch would be good, about an inch. I'm going to eliminate one loop right here. 2 pairs of pliers. I have a flat nose and chain nose. I'm trying to find the cut in the jump ring, the original cut. Sometimes it's hard to see. Does this not have a cut? So weird. Can't find the cut in this. Pretty much every chain has a split or a cut. All right, I'm going to grab something else. I have some oval chain, just opening it and attaching a little bit to the ring. And this is a closed ring that I used, that I wired in, allowing about an inch, give or take. Remove the excess. And we have our little extension chain. And if we want to add a little crystal at the end of the extension chain, I have a little crystal right here. I'm going to add a small bead to it. Bend it and bring it around, adjust, and wrap it a couple of times. This is very thin, so it bends very easily. If you get about 3 wraps, you're good. It was very hard to show you there because it's so tiny. Trim off the excess, tuck in any sharp ends. Make sure it doesn't have any sharp ends. We can open up the last link and slip that little wire wrapped bead on here. And there you go. Bracelet number 4 with a little extension chain. And how about this one with the mother of pearl with some light aqua blue and even some black crystals? Oh my gosh, I don't know. What do you think? What should we call it? Do you hear that? Do you hear the thunder? How about, since it's mother of pearl, how about Pearl's favorite? Are you ready to make bracelet number 5? Well, there's a hint here in some of the colors that I'm wearing. I missed having the camera on when I cut the wire, but I think you know how to cut wire. These glass beads. What are we going to do with these glass beads? I don't know. They need something, and it's something that I don't have from the original bracelets that we've taken apart. But they need something. They need a little bit of help. Had to get in my bead stash, and I have these pink cat's eye beads that I've had for a long time, and I haven't used them. So I am thinking this might be the time. I even have some black beads in a similar shape. They're not cat's eyes, but they're like a flat donut type bead. These are actually thinner. I'm going to just get out a variety here. I think we're making a good and plenty bracelet this time, if you know what I mean. Although I could introduce some white and really make it good and plenty. And maybe some daisy spacers. Sometimes our beads just need a little bit of help. Let's start building a pattern here. Go bold or go home. I'm going to try the skinnier of the black beads. Just going to experiment here. And then I'll decide if we're on the right track. I guess I should say if I'm on the right track, because you might think I'm not at all. All these beads vary just a little bit in size. I don't think any two are exact. Ooh, I like the pink and black. This reminds me of my sister's wedding back in the day. All her bridesmaids wore black except for me. I had the bright hot pink dress. And I was happy to wear the bright hot pink dress because I love pink. So I was okay with that. You know, I'm not even adding any special spacer beads, and I'm kind of liking this. I mean, I have a daisy spacer, but it's not adding a whole lot. Just doing the pink, the white, the black daisy spacer. Trying to be delicate with these. I'm not sure anymore if I actually have a focal point bead. It's just that I was putting the plainer side to my left and the pattern to the right, so that's why I came back to this end. I hope that makes sense. Trying to, I gotta work backwards on the pattern now. Maybe I don't want to do this. Maybe I want to stay on the other end. I have to reverse my thought process, so I'll just stay going this way, keeping the plainer side first. Oh, I have a double spacer bead, and I bet you caught that. Don't like that sound when they hit. I bet it sounds loud on camera. Everything sounds louder on camera. Rainy day, a good day to be making jewelry. But then again, what day isn't good for making jewelry? It's relaxing, takes our mind off of other things that maybe we don't even want to think about. Gotta love that. Okay, I need some more spacer beads. These are so pretty. I don't know how big this bracelet is. I probably better stop pretty soon and check it. And I did get some more beads out here while I was getting the spacer beads. Daisy spacers, I call them. Let's take a look at this on the bracelet board. I think we need to stop here. Time we add a clasp. I'm going to try to check it on here too. I'm going to push things down around so I have a little more wire to hold on to. It's going to be, with a lobster clasp, it's going to be at 8 inches, maybe even a little more. So I'm not going to add any more beads. But isn't that cute? Oh my gosh, I love it. I love the good and plenty. Plenty good. Oh, I just realized I have these beads here but not here. So what do we want to do? I think I like the idea of smaller beads around the clasp. I'm just not sure if that's just going to be way too long. Again, I'm not making it for myself. I'm making it to sell, but I try to stay around the 7.5 to 8 inch. I am using a little larger silver bead here at the end. Take another look at this, trying to pull it together as tight as I can. I'm going to stop there. I think it's going to be around 8 1/4. Not 100% sure. I can always add an extension chain. And I think this time I'm going to go with a little larger lobster clasp, and I'll add extension chain. Add the crimp tube. I'm adding the crimp tube, but I have to be careful because it could slide down into this bead, inside of the bead, and I don't want that. Through the lobster clasp, which we have to make sure it works. It does. I'm not even going to slip that bead over here right now because I don't want this tube sliding down inside there. Crimping tool, wires side by side. Hot dog bun. Turn it. Couple more presses. Check it. It's good. Now I'll slip the bead over it. Trim the excess wire. Push the beads down. Make sure the wire is inside. Crimp. I have a closed jump ring, which I'll add extension chain to, which I think is going to be very important for this. This time I am going to have to go through that one bead and hope I don't lose my crimp tube inside of there. It's not going inside yet, so I think I'm good. I think. Push the beads down. I have never made a bracelet like this before. It's so colorful. It's all about those beads, these glass beads. You know, each of those dots was applied, hand applied in the process, so these are nice beads. Nice beads. I'm going to allow a little flexibility here at the end. Crimping tool. It's good. Let's see what size it is before I cut that. I'm so curious because when you use chunky beads, they push it out from the cone or the wrist all the way up to 8.5. See, I wasn't sure, but I did add these 3 beads back in. I'm going to stay with the 8.5 and add some extension chain because I like to have a variety of sizes available. Everyone wears something different. Now, as far as the extension chain, I'm going to use this oval chain again. Because why not? Doesn't really matter what shape it is. I need to find the cut. Put it through the ring. Measure out, about an inch. Might be slightly over. Remove the excess, close it up, give it a pinch. And I'm not making a charm for this one. I think it's fine just like it is. It has enough pretty embellishment going on. I'm not going to add any little charm at the end. But there we go. Good and plenty bracelet. What do you think? Is it good? Is it plenty? Bracelet number 5. I named it as I was making it. Good and plenty. Yep, good and plenty. That's why I picked this top to wear. I thought I'd try to dress for the good and plenty colors. When I was getting ready to take the photos, I realized that I had missed a couple of spacer beads, but I caught it and fixed it. Let's take a closer look at all the bracelets that we made in this video, from 1 through 5, with all those crazy names that I made up along the way. And here they are. All 5 bracelets will be in our eBay store, Avante Avenue. You'll find a link below the video in the description box. If you're on your phone or desktop or iPad, look for the word more to open up the drop-down box where you'll find a link to our eBay store. It takes you directly to Avante Jewelry. And of course, I show you some of my tools and supplies and things like that. I don't know if you could hear the thunder in the background, but I can. In fact, Mark sent me down here with an emergency light just in case the power went off while I was making this video. So I am not kidding. There is a big storm going through. Thanks again for watching. You surely heard that. Bye.